Hello friends, this is Worm, back today with another episode of What If Wednesday, the series where we take fun what ifs about Destiny 2 and talk about them. If you have a what if that you would like to see in Destiny 2 or just want to hear me talk about, leave it in the comment section below. But let's get on to today's topic, which I have to give a big shout out to my #1 subscriber, literally my first ever subscriber actually, and my #1 fan, which is my wife. Thank you, babe. Love you. She's the one that gave me the idea for this topic. So, for some backstory here, she plays a lot of Fortnite. She loves Fortnite. She gets on all the time, and she logs in and she starts playing. You know, she's got some victory royales. She's come in every single place from 100th place all the way to first place, blah, blah, blah. And I came to her the other day and I asked, hey babe, what do you think I should talk about in my What If Wednesday episode? And she says, ooh, I have an idea. What is it? What if Bungie added Battle Royale to Destiny 2? And I molded over my head, I thought about it, and I just kind of was like, here's what they could do. This is the way it would work. And overwhelmingly, I came to the conclusion that I don't think a Battle Royale would work very well in Destiny 2. And I want to talk about why I don't think a Battle Royale would work in Destiny 2, but I do think there's another game mode that is similar to Battle Royale that actually could work in Destiny 2. But the reason I don't think Battle Royale will work is because #1, Destiny does not have a no weapon animation, and I don't think that they would ever go out of their way to make one. Of course, in battle royales, you start without anything. You start with just your bare hands. You got to run around, find your guns, stuff like that. And as you get guns and as you push more, further and further into the game, you find better weapons. And by the time there's like 10 people left, you typically have a really solid arsenal of weapons. And I think that this wouldn't really work in Destiny because every single weapon archetype is relatively competitive. If you take a game like Fortnite and you have a, common tier pistol, for example, you have a common tier pistol and you put it up against Monte Carlo, or let's say you put it up against an exotic sidearm. Would there be a big difference in the TTKs? No. If they're both 300 round per minute, say you take Rat King versus some random white tier 360 round or 300 round per minute sidearm, they're gonna have the same TTK. And yeah, maybe the Rat King stats are a little bit better and stuff like that, but overall, like, the tiers of weapons are very limited. And I think that's kind of one of the first issues with why a battle royale wouldn't work very well. I also think that another thing that would hold Bungie back in terms of battle royale is with map size. And we're going to talk about map size more in just a little bit, but we don't have anywhere else in the game outside of our patrol zones that are big enough to promote a battle royale system or a battle royale game mode. Now, I think Bungie could go out of their way and make a really killer, just gigantic map. But at the same time, with that weapon issue and, with issues with, most battle royales have an armor system where you can put on armor. You can't do that in Destiny 2. That's why I'm thinking that maybe a battle royale wouldn't work too very well. Not only that, but what is, aside from just winning, so to speak, what is the incentive? Destiny is a looter shooter. So the incentive for loot would have to be, oh, well, you need to get exotics or cool legendary, blah, 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 all kinds of stuff like that. And I think that there's a lot of people that just, myself, for example, I have every exotic in the game. I don't need new exotics. I don't need, this, that, and the other. And you could argue, you could put unique rewards in, but I think that there's a better way that we could put those unique rewards in, which we're going to talk about right now. I said Battle Royale wouldn't work well in Destiny, and I do believe that that is the case. But you know what I think could actually work really well in Destiny? An extraction-based shooter. Now, we already know Bungie's making Marathon, which is going to be an extraction-based shooter, so they are dabbling in the extraction/battle royale game mode already. But think about it. Destiny 2 could host an extraction shooter. First of all, what is an extraction shooter? Just to clarify here, extraction shooter is a game mode where you put a large number of players on a map, like 100 players, similar to a battle royale. And there are various locations around the map where you can go to extract. You can, leave the map. And while you're on the map, you go and you collect weapons and you collect armor and gear and stuff like that. And you kill other peoples that you come across. And when you kill other people, they drop their stuff. They drop their, whatever weapons and armor and stuff they have. But if you die, you drop all your stuff and you're out. unless of course you have like a friend that calls you back in some game modes, blah blah blah. But if of course you make it to the extraction zone, anything that you have found in that session you get to keep. And I think that is like right up Destiny 2's alley as a looter shooter. Here's what Bungie would need to do to add an extraction shooter. Number one, I think that obviously a large world, which that's the biggest hindrance in my opinion. I don't think that they're going to ever take the time to make a massive open world that you can drop, 100 people in, and maybe it doesn't have to be 100, maybe 24 Guardians in, or even 12 Guardians in to run around, collect loot and stuff like that. But I think that the map design would have to be the first thing that they focus on, because once you have the map, everything else is pretty easy. So develop a map to host this extraction shooter on. Then all you have to do is have random chest spawn locations that have increasingly difficult loot. I mean, we already have the enemies in the game. We already have tiers of enemies. You've got red bar dregs all the way up to, yellow bar minotaurs and stuff like that. Like, have bosses located around the world that as you fight and kill them, they drop cool things like exotics, like unique legendary armor, unique legendary weapons. I wouldn't say like unique exotics, maybe that might be taking it too far, but you could throw that in there if you wanted to. But unique legendary armor, unique legendary weapons, that way you get these things, you can, you can't necessarily equip them to make your Guardian better. I mean, maybe you could equip, this new auto rifle that you found, for example, because it does a really cool thing, blah, blah, blah. But once you get your inventory full, let's say, just your standard Destiny 2 inventory, once it's full, go to an extraction point, and as long as you can extract, everything that you get from that is now kept. It can be put in your vault, it can be traded between characters, blah, blah, blah. But while you're in game, it's, I guess, considered contraband. I think that's what it's called in the DMZ, which is the last extraction shooter that I played. I know, not a great example of one, but in Call of Duty DMZ, it's contraband. So have it labeled as contraband. You can't change it around, you can't move it to different characters, you can't move it to your vault, you keep it in your inventory, and if you die, those weapons drop. The contraband weapons drop, and anybody can pick them up, or that maybe they drop as like a chest. For example, we have, if you're running around patrol, you find a yellow bar captain, a despoiler captain, you can kill him and he'll spawn a chest under him. Same principle with guardians. You kill a guardian, a chest spawns at their feet, and there's all their loot, and anybody can loot that chest, and it'll give you everything that guardian had on them. That would be, I think that could potentially work. And of course, the big question is, well, what about the health system? What about healing and armor? And that's something I guess there is some room to be desired, because the way Destiny is set up currently in terms of its PvP, which, Gambit and Crucible, it is meant for those fast-paced, engaging fights. Okay, you've got those gunfights where, they're typically less than a second long, versus other extraction shooters where you have armor and stuff that allows you to, take more damage, but also when you take more damage, your health doesn't regenerate. And Destiny 2's health constantly regenerating. As long as you are out of combat for X amount of time, it'll regenerate. And I think Bungie would have to adjust that somehow. That way, if you get body shot by a sniper, for example, you are red health and you can't heal out of that red health without having some sort of healing items or healing abilities. And this might make it so that Solar with its healing rate or Warlocks with rifts are a little bit too strong, and I would leave it up to Bungie to balance that out. I also think that certain weapon archetypes would have to be balanced. Snipers, for example. Snipers, if you are a really good shot with a sniper, one headshot kill, that might be a bit powerful. And from what I remember in terms of playing DMZ, from what I remember is that even if you got a headshot, or no, only a headshot would down another player, and they would down them at max armor. Well, the difference between Destiny 2 and Call of Duty, there's a lot of differences, but one of the key differences, snipers have bullet drop and bullet adjustments. In Destiny, snipers don't do that. Like, if you can hit a headshot, if your reticle is on an enemy's head, it's a headshot. So I think that snipers would be problematic. I think that heavy would be problematic, because you'd have people that use, say, like Truth or something and just snipe somebody from across the map. Like, imagine you're at the extraction zone and you just get blown up by a rocket, and you see, you see who killed you, and they're way off in the distance over there, and they're just sitting up there and they killed you with Truth. That would be frustrating and difficult, but I think that the potential is there, and I think that it could be a really fun game mode for a lot of people. In terms of the loot that you get, I don't think it should, like, I don't think a mode, extraction shooter game mode, sorry, I lost my train of thought. I don't think that an extraction shooter game mode is necessarily like the easiest or best thing to do in Destiny, but I think that it is possible that Bungie could work it in there. And in terms of the loots, which is what we're talking about, in terms of the loot, I don't know if it's a good idea for Bungie to put like the absolute best, most god tier loot in a DMZ, because DMZ is similar to, you know, Gambit. It's PvEVP. You've got players that are going to be brand new to the game going in there, testing it out. You've got veterans that are going to be going in there. And of course, veterans would dominate. You'd have to have skill-based matchmaking. Like there's a lot of factors that go into it, but the idea and the principle is there. And I think that that's such a cool concept that Bungie, if they just put the effort in, they could do it and they could make it work. I don't know. Maybe I'm just thinking out loud here. Like, what do you think? What if Bungie added an extraction-based shooter or a battle royale? You know, we talked about battle royale earlier in the video and why I don't think it would work very well. But if you have ideas on how they could make it work, tell me in the comments. But overall, I just want to hear your thoughts on this whole concept, because I think it's a really interesting concept. Shout out once again to my wife. Thank you, babe. That was a really interesting topic to think about and talk about. But with that being said, like the video if you enjoyed it, subscribe for more daily Destiny content, and do me a favor, watch the videos you see on the end screen, because for whatever reason, YouTube thinks you will like them. Guys, I'll see y'all next time. Bye for now.